Okay, this is a practice session for the conditional statements for the if else and the for loop and the while loop, the basic Python whatever we have learned till so far. I have given a couple of exercise assignments for you guys. I hope you have solved. I want you guys to cross check with the solutions here. So the solution here is for the first thing is for the factorial. So let's understand what factorial is first in the first place, right? Suppose I want to get the factorial of 5. So factorial of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So that is what the value we generally get, right? If it is 7, then the factorial will be calculated by multiplying each number decremented, right? So that's how the factorial is calculated, right? So we can try and do the same thing using a program here. We can check how to do this using a for loop. Suppose I want to take a number first. Okay, a number equal to, I'll take from the input from the user, enter a number. Okay, so for I in range, this particular number, I want to go through the numbers here and I want to multiply, right? So how I do is I'll take a multiplier as a value 1. I name it fact. The variable name is fact. So I want to get the fact multiplied by the values here, right? So in this case it is num, okay, number. So whatever number, let's say 5 is entered by the user. So I want to multiply 5. Then I want to go in the next iteration till the time I find this number, right? So those many number of times I go, and every time I want to decrement our number here, right? So number equal to number minus 1. So I think, let me try if this works. If not, I will explain. For example, yeah, 5, this works it seems. 6, yeah, I think that's right. So 7 or 8. So this is how the factorial works. So here we get the number, we iterate over the number for those many times, and later on I keep on changing the number, right? So that's why your loop is not going to be running for those many times. Every time I do decrement 1. So that's why that's how your the calculations happens, and you get the factorial of a number. So there is alternate way for the same. We can use a while loop, because here there is no definite number of times we are going to iterate over. Let me take one more example here. So using the same example, using alternate method, enter a number. Okay, I use here the same multiplier, then I use while num is greater than 0. I will keep on doing as long as there is a value, and fact equal to fact into num I will take, and then what I have to do is I have to decrement the number here, right? So num minus 1. So that this condition becomes true at some moment when the numbers goes is equal to 0, right? So that's how we can do this, and I can see that this also works well. Okay, so a little change I want to make it, because I want to help you understand the other operators which we have discussed. So those operators are called assignment operators with little different, which you can't see usually. That is plus equal to, star equal to, minus equal to. So let me use that. Instead of fact equal to fact into 2, I can simply use into equal to num. So same way I can just do minus. So that means, so whatever value I put on the second part on the right hand side of this equation, so this value will be added to or subtracted from the same number. If it is plus, it will be added to the same number, right? So there is no change in the outcome. So this works exactly same way. Okay, so that's the solution for your factorial problem. The second problem was the input and output strings. So let me check how we can do this using string operations, right? We have seen, if I say I want to iterate over, I'm going to make it simple. There are n number of ways, there are different ways everybody can solve. I'm just focusing on how to get to the solution with the help of whatever basics we have learned. Okay, so let me copy this and I put it as a string here, so that I can find out the length of the strings, and I will try to print, or maybe what I will do is I will maybe I will check if I can do something here. Let me print it here. Let me just try it. What went wrong? In is missing the syntax, right? So if I do this, I can see that I'm printing string is out of range. That means I cannot go using the range, because yeah, here I'm doing +1. That's the reason, right? At the end till 1 the digit it works, and the next time it will be 1 plus that last number +1. That's why it is going out of the range, correct? So what we can do is in fact we can try and get the values incremented by twice. The step size I can use it as twice, and let me check if it does something. No, yeah, it should be starting from 0, so I have to use this. If I want to use the second index, I have to use the last index, then I have to use the first as well, right, the argument. So these are the values we can use, and I see that this gives me 2, 3, 5 and 1, so only the numbers, right? So that's what our input is, correct? So we can think about using this, and maybe if I tell you there is a string and into 2, the moment I do multiply a string, we have seen earlier in one of the video that if I use the arithmetic operator plus, so that plus won't be working with the string, because it is not the proper operation we are probably trying here, but we have to convert this into a string to append this this 2 to the string, right? Similarly, this is how the plus works with the strings, and let's understand how star works, right? Star works with the number and the string, right? So together, so one operand number and other operand as a string. So in that case, the string will be concatenated twice, because I use 2 to multiply it. So we can use this principle, and we can try to get the numbers, because we find the number now, because we see that s of I plus 1 is nothing but the number, right? So I just want to convert this number into an integer. So here I get the integer number, and here if I try and put the value, that value is at index I, right? Because I plus is the number, right? So every time I'm getting I plus that value, right, number, and the actual string is available, the character is available at the ith index. So this is looks closer. I mean, this is what something we are looking for our output, but we are getting in each line, right? So this is something we may not be looking for, right? So let's understand what print has is there any option to not print on the new line every time. So I am looking for printing same thing on the single line. Okay, here you see that there is a separator, there is an end, that means end equal to /n. /n is a new line character. Okay, I hope you know this, right? So /n is new line, and that is the by default character appended the moment it executes a command, right? The print statement. So that's the reason we are getting everything on the new line. So I repeat this line again for, let's say, I in range 5. Okay, print I. So we are getting each value from this range, and that is printed on each line, right? So I may not be interested in printing on each line, right? So I want to print with some spaces in the single line, right? And that's possible. Okay, so you can also try with the single space, we can try without a space, right? So that is how we can put everything together. So this example will help you to understand the end, that is the second argument in the print function. So we can use that to print on the same line. So similarly, if I use this similar mechanism here to print on the same line, so there is a possibility, right? And that's what we are actually trying to achieve. Okay, so this was simple. So let me, as part of this demo practice session, let us solve one more quick thing. I will introduce you something called random. Random is a module, and if you do random the random number, okay, this generates the random number every time you run this particular function, right? It's a cool thing, useful function sometimes. Let me get a number here. So I want to randomly generate one number from some kind of a range of numbers, right? So there is a choice function as well inside a random module, and if I use choice and inside a range, let's say I give 20, okay. Let me first run this. Yeah, 13, 18. So every time I run, I get some number between the range 0 to 20, not including 20. Sorry, not 0 to 20, it is 1 to 20, not including 20. Okay. So suppose this is the number we are generating. Let's save it here. Okay. And then I want to guess, I want to make a small game between computer and us. Now I want to guess the number by the user. Suppose I want to get the number from the user, enter a number. So whatever number is now generated by this random is stored in num, and I am asking user to guess the number. Okay, the moment we do that, let's say I check while, I want to do this for 10 times, 10 options I want to give. So the maximum number of chances, I would say chances, no, not chances, I'll just use I variable, that's okay, right? So it is 1, and if I see I is less than 10, okay, so I will keep on doing this. Okay, if number is equal to guess, I will say that okay, user has won the game, right? You won. Correct. Okay, I will in fact write the other way. Okay, correct guess. Okay, you won the game. Okay, something like this. Suppose I have this option, and once the moment I have done, okay, I haven't discussed about break, so maybe in the next session we will discuss, because I don't want to continue anymore and we can break out of the loop. Okay, the break is pretty simple, straightforward. We have a next slide where we will be discussing about the break statement. Okay, but here elif I can use here, elif else if this number is greater than our guess, we will help user to get the clue. So we can give that your guess is too low. Okay, and maybe we can think about giving other option as well. Your guess is too high. Okay, so we will keep on doing this, and that way we have to remember that we have to use the plus operator here to increment the number, right? The moment your chances are over, you lose the game. Okay, so how to handle this is, if I is greater than 10, okay, maybe I'll use greater than or equal to here, so that I can make greater than here, so that I will say that you lost the game. Okay, so let's see, let's try. Okay, let me run this. Now I say that let's say 13 is the number, I guess your guess is too high. Okay, something went wrong again. So we are doing this so many times. Instead we should give the chance, right? So if it is the case, I should have this probably. What I will do is I will take this guesses inside the loop here. Maybe that it helps. That way it helps. So I use this 13. Oh, 14. That number is too high. Okay. Oh yeah, I won actually. Okay, perfect. So let me run once again. So I have to remove this. We don't need it, in fact. Okay, so because it was asking 2 times. So now this time I give 5. So it says that your number is too low. So that means maybe I tried 10. So here it says the number is too high. That means the value which is generated by the random function must be between 5 and 10. Okay, let's try 7. Okay, it's too low. That means it is either 8 or 9, right? So I try 8. It is still says too low, so that's it, then 9 is the answer, right? So that's how your guess is correct now, and you own the game. So this is a simple stuff, not a big deal, but I try to explain, I try to use whatever we have learned as part of our loops, as part of our basic Python stuff, whatever we have learned so far. Okay, here we have used while loop, where you have used some of the operators, comparison, if statement, else if, elif, and else part, right? So quite basic thing, but interesting. So this is how we can use Python for so many things going forward in your program in the data science. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.